So my first one, we're talking about basketball, the NBA, and my first thought is that there should be a 4 point line in basketball.
Ooh, I have a
What do you
good one
think?
for this as well.
Do
I
you?
I
Let's
think
talk about the 4 point line.
yeah, let's talk about the 4 point line. I think it's a good idea because it adds I don't think parity is the right word, but it adds like a different element to the game where like you can't
Yeah,
just rely on threes and twos because threes are like people are good at shooting threes.
yeah. I have actually some stats on that right here. I wanted to
Yeah,
like back up my point with some arguments. So, do you know who the best 3 point shooter in the NBA this
Paul
season
George.
is? No, he did really well in the game
Yeah,
against the Wizards. So I see why you think
he
that
got
because
100% from three when I was
yeah,
watching.
I was
So
very mad about that. No, but
I'm not. Yeah,
it's Joe Harris on the Nets.
I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, I know who he is, but I didn't really know. But it's like a large sample size. He is 50.5% from three. He has shot 222 shots and made 112 of those shots.
That's a
So
lot
he
of
shoot.
points.
It's pretty good. Like I mean, that's like it's not like I just chose one player who shot 1 3
Yeah.
and he made that one and then he never shot again. It's yeah. But what I'm saying is like it's not that hard. Like for context, the worst free throw percent, which if you're not too hip with basketball, 3 point is technically the hardest shot in basketball, and a free throw should be the easiest shot. The worst person in the NBA is Marvin Bagley the third, who is shooting 54.5% from the free throw line, which is 3% away from or 4% away from Joe Harris's 3 point shot. So I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of just shows. I mean, obviously that's best case and worst case scenario, but it just shows the discrepancy of like, okay, so these shots aren't that hard anymore. I don't know when the 3 point line when it was introduced, but I think it might have been like the 90s,
I think a little bit further back, right?
maybe.
It was like
But
early.
like,
Wasn't it college basketball? I don't know.
I think college basketball did it first because I remember like if you look at the Heat charts, which is like the most common shots in the NBA, in the like when Jordan was playing in the like 80s and 90s, the Heat chart was like the top of the key, like which is like right where the free throw percent shot, and then like baseline right before the 3 point line.
Yeah.
Like that's where all the shots were getting taken. No one cared about the three. And then this decade, well, I mean, the 2010s, like 3 point shooting has gone off.
That's it.
Like
Like if you're good, you can shoot a 3 point. Or if you can
I
shoot
mean,
a 3 point, you're good. Yeah.
also like you kind of have to shoot a 3 pointer. Before, like if you couldn't shoot 3 pointers in the NBA, it's like whatever. Like
Yeah.
we have one person who can do that. But like if you can't at least make like a three uncontested, like 1/3 of the time, like you're not in the NBA. Honestly, at
Yeah.
this point, you have specialists obviously still like Joe Harris, obviously Steph Curry, like people who are really good
And
at shooting threes.
people that are centers, big people, they don't have to shoot threes. Like
But they still. I saw Robin Lopez on the Wizards last night pull up from three, and he almost made it. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like he's a big boy.
I mean,
but
I think anyone has a capability of making a three. It's just like the matter
How
of they
contest-
don't.
yeah.
They're not gonna put the effort in to make that a good shot because and some people do. There are some people like some big forwards and big centers that go out and they're like 3 point. Like if they have the opportunity, they're shooting it.
yeah. So I mean, my point is that just it's become commonplace to shoot threes. Like you see, like literally last night. I don't know if were you watching the Nuggets Wizards game last night, Matthew?
I watched the first half and then
Okay.
I forgot it was on.
The very last play, the Wizards were up 2 points, and the Nuggets get a rebound with like 5 seconds left, and the guy takes up the court, and it's a fast break, and they have four players, and every player stops at the 3 point line.
Yeah.
They are only down by two. They could easily, and there was nobody in the paint. They could have easily gotten a layup and went to overtime. Everyone stopped at the 3 point line. The guy passed it out. The guy shot a three and he missed, and the Wizards won. So it just shows how popular the 3 point shot
Yeah.
is. It was really convenient that this worked out this night, or
Yeah.
for this topic. But anyway, I think a 4 point line. You see people shooting from the logo now, like which is like where they're almost at half court, and they'll just pull up and they'll make the shot.
Yeah.
So I think the 3 point shot is probably about like 33% made for like on a team average, I would say. So I just think giving teams the opportunity to just go out there and shoot your shot, if you will, from you can get
Yeah.
4 points and maybe make it about like 15% of the time. I think that'd be fun.
Where would the 4 point line be?
I think it would just
And
be
how
another.
far back?
I think it would probably be another like 7 feet back from the.
Ooh, I
Like,
think it'd have to be more than that.
you think?
Maybe like even like close to half court. Like
It'd have to be hard for people to make it. Yeah, I think it'd have to be logo shot. Like I mean, like maybe it's just like a line in the middle of like right like after the half court line, like in hockey when they have like the
Yeah.
offsides lines. Yeah, like pretty much that. And wherever you are, I know it'd be harder, obviously
think it-
further away, but if you just
it'd
pull
still
up
have
and
to be
drain it,
curved. I think
it might have to be, but it just you wouldn't be able to do baseline shots with that anymore. But
Yeah.
you know,
It would cut off
Anyway.
the sides.
that's my thought. Do you have
yeah.
any thoughts?
I had an idea when you immediately said that because my topic for next week was also a sports topic. And I'm gonna reveal it.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Because I think I'm gonna change it now. Because I don't want to talk.
I knew this would have.
I don't want to talk about sports
eventually.
twice in a row.
I mean, you can always just push it back if you want to. Before you give it away. Okay, good.
It's not that great. It's just more of like a conversation starter.
Let's hear it.
I was gonna talk about how insanely hard it is to visualize how tall sports players are.
That's true. Yeah.
So, in the NBA, you have to be tall to be good. What I think, raise the basket past 12 feet so you can't dunk.
Well, it's 10 feet right now.
Can dunk. Yeah.
So you're saying, okay, yeah.
Get
so
it to 12 feet.
Put it at, you said past 12 feet. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like only like very, very insane people could dunk, or no one at all can dunk.
A 7-foot center that has a 40-inch vertical. If you can do that, you can dunk. There you go.
Get in there.
Yeah.
That's
so it makes layups hard. It makes any shot hard. It makes threes extremely hard.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that would be bad for the game.
I think it would make the game really trash. Yeah, it would
I'm here to make the game better, like for people to want to watch it. So adding a 4-point line, people love threes. My caveat for this was to completely remove the 3-point line. It's like, fine, if you don't want to add a 4-point line, then get rid of the 3-point line, because I love baseline mid-range jumpers, and I also love when players drive to the rim, which is still, obviously it's easier than shooting a 3-point shot, but players aren't as incentivized to do it when they can just like take an easier shot that they shoot all the time from 3 and get an extra point. So I just want to see more athleticism, more driving to the basket. So that's if gunpoint NBA has to choose, like it's that meme where the guy's like pushing the button and he's sweating. It's like add a 4-point line or completely remove the 3-point line, and he's like, I don't know. One of those things has to happen in my dream reality. Mine is that you should be encouraged to do steroids in baseball.
See, that's fun. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
See,
so let's talk about it.
The only thing is the health repercussions. Let's talk about that.
So my caveat, my caveat is related to it, is that you have one dude who uses steroids per team, like a Bane sort of figure who juices up before every game, and everyone knows who it is. Like it's like his position says, like, you want it to be a surprise. I think you'll know. Like, did you see what Barry Bonds looked like in like 2001? He looked like he ate old Barry Bonds.
You know how many people got intentionally walked back then? The intentional walk rate.
Have you seen the video about Barry Bonds and how good his on-base percentage? Yeah, if he went up without a bat, like, and the pitchers thought he had a bat, he would still have the best on-base percentage in, like, the history of baseball, which is awesome.
They walked
him so much. I loved it. So, okay, fine, it's a secret, but my thing is, like everyone can do steroids. That's
I think
my main
everyone
thing.
has to.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the health risk, but, like, all I'm here to do is to make Major League Baseball money, and I care about the athletes, but in this hypothetical universe, I'm getting paid to not care about the athletes, so... Steroids, yes, let's do it. Yeah. So baseball is not very popular. No offense to baseball, but it's been steadily declining for a while now. It's still one of the 4 major sports in America, but I mean, it's just not as popular as it used to be. I think I saw a stat to where I forgot to add this in there, but like the world back in like 1978, like 44 million people watched the World Series, and last year it was like, I think it was like 1.7 million people or something like that. I
watched it for the last minute.
Yeah, we did. We watched it together last minute. Yeah.
And then we went nice and turned it off.
We didn't. It was just because the Nationals were in it. We don't even care about them anyway. But back when the last time I remember baseball getting huge numbers and like on SportsCenter, I was young when this happened, but I still watched SportsCenter. Was when Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire were going for the home run championship and the title in 2001. Which is when Barry Bonds hit like 71 homers. You were like 1 year old when this happened. I was only 5, but I do remember on SportsCenter seeing Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire like knocking it out of the park and stuff like that. They were racing each other to see who could get the most home runs, and they were both doing steroids allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble there, but baseball's pretty boring right now. We don't have to stay on this one too long. But imagine if you had these juiced up monsters of men just belting balls 500 feet out of the park. Like, sign me up. I'd
make the
probably
parks bigger.
I'd at least watch highlights of baseball. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Baseball is just not very interesting to me. Sorry if you love baseball and you're watching and you're like, hey, against America's game.
That's my sport.
Sorry, but I don't like it. And you can...
Yeah.
Good.
I don't think people that like baseball can even say that they don't understand why we don't like baseball. Yeah. Because there is an inherent element of a 3-hour game in which 2 people are engaged at a time. And there's probably 30 people out there.
So over a 3-hour span of game, you probably get action for maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like compared to hockey, where you'll get like 60 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean,
Yeah,
it's only
it's pretty
like
much all action.
It's less than
Football,
2.5
it's a little
hours.
less.
Yeah.
It's 3-hour
But-
game. You get 22 minutes, 60 minutes.
Yeah, they're not gonna be running around like crazy people.
Yeah.
That's rugby.
But at least it's 11 on 11, not
Yeah.
1-on-1.
It's
Technically.
and like there's only so many outcomes in baseball. You know.
Yeah.
It's like you can hit a home run, you can strike out, you can walk, or you can hit it somewhere in the field. You know.
Yeah.
So if I'm just and a home run is arguably the most exciting thing in baseball, I think.
Yeah.
Like, cool, he struck him out. Who cares? Like, I just want to see this 300-pound ball of muscle come up with a stick and nail a ball into the ocean, into the stratosphere.
I remember seeing no hitters on like SportsCenter and ESPN. I was like, that's a cool achievement. I would
good
never
job.
watch that ever. That
it's like,
has to be the most boring game until the end when you're cheering on his no hitter.
Yeah, that's when you watch with like 1 inning left, and it's like, okay, now I'll start watching.
The first 5 innings where you're like, oh, they're not even touching the ball.
No
bro.
one's touched the ball in like 4 hours. It sucks. Yeah, so I'm with you.